What a time to be alive for an Eagles fan. Wow. I mean, we're back to the bowl, second time in 3 years, rematch against now it's becoming a rivalry at this point. The Chiefs, there's obviously history there. They got us a couple years ago in the bowl, even though Jalen Hurts outplayed Mahomes, supposedly the best quarterback y'all have ever seen. He has outplayed him before. I think he's going to do it again. Our defense is humming right now. Vic Fangio, you deserve so much praise. The GM, Howie Roseman, you deserve so much flowers and roses at this point, for putting together just a flawless roster. From top to bottom, there's no holes. The only holes that you see on this team are the ones created by the offensive line when Saquon Barkley is going for, 75, 80 yards. Saquon Barkley, can we just have a moment to just reflect on this year? Not only has he been unbelievable, but he's been a great locker room guy. He's put the team first. When he could have put himself first, he could have went and got the record. He could have ran and scored a touchdown, but he ended up sliding and killing the clock to ensure an Eagles win, where we don't have to continue to play and put our guys out there in harm's way. He puts the team first, man. He's a very smart player, and to be totally honest, I think he is the best football player on planet Earth right now. Quarterback, no quarterback, he's the best player on planet Earth. If I just go back, and I'm going to go back and watch every single carry from this year, I think honestly, this has probably been, as an individual, the best football season I think I can remember. Obviously there's been some great running backs in our league. We have many. Barry Sanders is probably my personal favorite. LaShawn McCoy obviously is a great bird, and Saquon Barkley even outdid him this season. Even in the snow game, we thought that was the greatest snow game we ever seen, and then Saquon Barkley said, "Hold my beer, bro, I got something for you." And not only did Saquon Barkley break that record, but he went to LaShawn McCoy. He went to LaShawn McCoy for advice. He's not just this star player. He's a student of the game. And it's just been amazing to watch, honestly. To see this team where I thought we were very special to start this year. I thought, hey, looking at the roster, damn, we don't have many holes. The offense stacked. Let's just go through the roster. Before we get into the Commanders game, let's go into the roster and how unbelievable this team is, and how GM just stacked the deck with this one. We got Jalen Hurts. Okay, for one, we got him in the second round. I think people forget that. Obviously looking back, he would be a top 5 pick in that draft. Obviously, if not the first. Look at his accomplishments. He's been in the league 4 years. He's been to the Super Bowl now twice. He outplayed Mahomes the first time. Should have got that dub. We're gonna get it this time though. Don't worry. So he'll be soon a Super Bowl champion, possibly MVP. You never know how it goes. I'm obviously going Saquon Barkley to win the MVP, because I think he's just gonna run for possibly 300 yards. He's gonna run like not his head is on fire, like his whole body's on fire. I can't wait to. But that's neither here nor there. We'll get there soon, okay? But the fact that Jalen Hurts was a second round pick, he's been doubted this entire time, even by our own fan base, even me at times, obviously. I think everybody has had, some concerns, but unlike most, I've wrote it out with this guy. I think that he's gonna transcend into not only like a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but he's going to transcend into that veteran that's just gritty, that you just go out there and you're like, damn, we got to go against Jalen, that he's a winner. Look back at his college. I think even high school, he did his thing. Like, he's always won. He's not been the very best player, but you don't have to be the very best player every single time. You just have to be, good in the moment and trust your teammates, and he does that. So, and your coaches. So shout out Jalen Hurts. Shout out, obviously GM Howie Roseman for pulling the trigger, even though we had Carson Wentz at the time. Which, ironically, we're playing against Carson Wentz. He is the backup on the Chiefs. Which, wouldn't it be ironic if something happened to Mahomes? I'm not saying I want him to get hurt or he should get hurt, but wouldn't it be crazy if Wentz actually got snaps against us in the Super Bowl? That would be nuts. But anyways, so many storylines going to the game. Now let's go to AJ Brown. Okay, Howie Roseman went out there and he got AJ Brown when no one seen that coming. He just said, you know what? We need, not only do we have Devontae Smith, which I traded up, with the Giants to get him. God dang, the Giants, man. You guys are looking really, really foolish. Well, let's just say foolish. There's a lot of words I can use. There's a lot of words, but let's just use foolish for now. Y'all are a very foolish franchise. Probably the worst GM in all of sports at this point, letting Saquon go and letting us get Smitty. But anyway, so we traded up to get Smitty, which was a great move. That I think that was a big change in our philosophy and saying, hey, we got to go out there and get weapons. We got the offensive line. We need weapons to surround this team with. So he went out there, he got Smitty. Next year, he got AJ Brown in a trade with the Titans. I don't know what they were thinking. Okay. And then after that, he continues to build the roster. Obviously, we got Dallas Goedert a couple years before. Dallas Goedert, I think he has the most catches in postseason history for the Eagles. It's something crazy. He's been a great bird too, that a lot of people, he's underrated. He went out there. The Eagles jumped Dallas, I believe, to get Dallas. I think Dallas Cowboys really wanted Goddard, but we went and we got him. That's another GM move. And we can just go through the list. Zach Braun, man. Zach Braun it's been a revelation watching a linebacker do what he does. I mean, he's literally a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think many people knew who he was before Vic Fangio got his hands on him and inserted him, as, one of the leaders on the defense from game one in Brazil. Okay. And shout out to the Packers. We beat your ass in 2 different continents, which was pretty funny. So Zach Braun did his thing game one. He did his thing again last night. I think he had another forced fumble or recovery, several tackles, just made a complete impact on the game. He's just been unbelievable. Okay, so Howie Roseman, he traded for CJGJ in 2022. That was an unbelievable trade. Okay, he completely changed, the back half of our secondary. We let him go. Unfortunately, he went to the Lions for the year. He found out, hey, Lions they're not doing it like the birds. I need to fly back home, to the nest, to the link, and be a bird again. So, GM Howie Roseman worked it out with his people and brought him back. So now it's just move on move on move. Now, the last move that I will say, there's more, but the last one, and I think this is the main one, Jalen Carter. Okay, a lot of people were scared, that Jalen Carter had issues, coming into the draft, which he did have some stuff. But GM Howie Roseman, he looked beyond the BS and is like, this guy's the second coming to Reggie White. I think this guy's generational. He looks on tape like he could be an absolute monster in this league, especially if I get a good defensive coordinator. We have a great scheme. We have a great offense that we play complementary football. We can just let him go out there and play like a madman, like a monster, and that's what he does. And Jalen Carter, I mean, he's literally been like Reggie White 2.0. I mean, he may be even better than Reggie White, R.I.P. Reggie, one of my childhood heroes as far as football. But I mean, let's be honest, this guy, Jalen Carter, he is different. He just makes plays after plays. If he's not double teamed, then you have a problem. If you're a quarterback looking like, oh my God, I have to go up against Jalen Carter. He's not double teamed on this play. That makes you second guess everything as a player, as a quarterback, when you got that type of a threat, and in, yesterday's case, he was going up against a backup. You seen him just tossing dudes around, slapping him upside his face. Like, man, it was possibly my best moment yesterday, just watching Jalen Carter just, just be a bully out there, And football is different. It's not like other sports, or you can go out there and you just have to always respect the other guy you're playing against, and sportsmanship. Now, football, especially in Philly, you can get dirty. And that's what I love about the sport. And we have guys that get real dirty. No diddy. Okay? We got some guys that will go out there and put a helmet on a helmet, and we've done it the right way too. We haven't had a whole bunch of dirty plays this year. No one can say, oh, the Eagles are a dirty team. No one can say that about us. We play the right way. Vic Fangio has got this defense playing unbelievable. And that goes back to GM Howie Roseman and even Nick Sirianni, who I'm sure had a part in choosing Vic Fangio. Even though they wanted Vic Fangio before, I think Nick obviously played a part. Let's talk about Nick. Nick Sirianni gets so much crap for being a winner. I think he sees himself in Jalen Hurts a little bit. I think that's maybe why they bumped heads a little bit last year. Is Jalen Hurts, he's like the calm version of Nick Sirianni, and Nick Sirianni is the more turned up. And as this season has gone on, Nick Sirianni has got turned up, and that's turned people the wrong way as far as like how they feel about him. Not in Philly, man. We love that shit. Okay, we love a guy who will go out there, talk his stuff. The team backs it up. He'll go out there day after day after day, take accountability on that podium when we make mistakes, take, full accountability, if we lose. He's never blaming anybody. That's a general, man. And, some of these coaches out here, look at all these coaches. Look at, if you're not an Eagles fan, you're watching this video, think about your coach and the coaches that you've had over the last 4 years. Nick Sirianni has won more games than all of them. All of them, okay? He's been that good, okay? And even in the postseason, look at our record, man. This is our second Super Bowl. You can't lose in the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, he's stacking up wins, and if we win the Super Bowl, he'll be the first coach, and so will Jalen. He'll be the first quarterback to get back to the Super Bowl, after losing it the first time, but winning it. It's hard to even get back after you lose the Super Bowl, especially as a young quarterback. We've seen it time and time again. That's their last shot. You get one shot sometimes at this. You get one shot at the Super Bowl. And as an Eagles fan, we've been privileged, man. We've been privileged, but at the same time, no one holds it down like Eagles fans. I think this week has showed me like the fact that Eagles fans, not only are we passionate, but we're the realest fans in the league, because not only do we hold each other accountable as fans, I think, but we hold this team accountable. We hold the GM accountable, and we also can say, hey, we can call a spade a spade. And that's what I really love about this fan base. Not only are we a funny fan base, we're wild, we're crazy, but I think we have the most heart. And just go on social media. Just go on your TikTok, go on your YouTube, go on Instagram, whatever your social media is, Twitter, X, and just scroll and just look at all of the passion that you see from this fan base. And that's another reason why I started this podcast. So let's go back and talk about the game a little bit. So the Eagles not only did, they do their thing all year, but we were obviously doubted, in regards to how we were going to handle Jaden Daniels. Okay. How were we going to handle Jaden Daniels? What was the game plan? Keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get loose. I think at the end of the day, he ran for like almost 80 plus yards on us last time. And I think that was the difference. I think Jaden Daniels, he likes to smile. He likes to dance when he's doing good. But look at him last night, man. Go back and look at the tape. He wasn't smiling as much. He didn't look as confident. Why did he keep going to Zach Ertz so much? I'm sure Q and Blankenship and And Cooper, DeJean, and Slay, I'm sure they weren't 100% sticking to their guys, where he could have maybe fitted some passes in some tight windows, but he kept going back to his safety valve, which was Zach Ertz. Okay, and shout out Zach Ertz. I love Zach Ertz. He's one of my favorite Eagles of all time, but let's stop with all the sentimental crap. All right. Him walking off the field and everyone, getting emotional. Who cares? He's a freaking Commander now. He ain't got midnight green on. Who cares? Like, if you're not with us, you're against us. And right now, he ain't with us. Now, maybe one day he'll come back and he'll be a coach or something in the Eagles organization, and we'll welcome him back with open arms. But I'm sick of seeing the empathy and the sympathy for Zach Ertz. He won a Super Bowl with us. Okay, he's obviously hailed as probably the best tight end in Eagles history and one of the best tight ends in NFL history, to be honest with you. And he has great plays in the Super Bowl. I will love Zach Ertz forever, but I don't want to hear any more of this. Oh my God, Zach Ertz, and people tearing up because they're seeing him walk off the field because he's crying and he talks to Flip. I don't care. This is bully ball. We don't care. We're here to win a Super Bowl. Now, that's either here nor there. Now, going back to Nick Sirianni, man, I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud to say that, after he shaved his head, that he's like, you know what? This is a symbolic moment, not only for me, but for this team. We're shedding the bullshit and we're going to put, our feet right here, planted on the ground. And we're going to say, hey, we're going to move forward now. We're not going to keep looking backward. We're not going to go back to last season. Stop with all last season questions about the collapse and what happened with the coaches and if you're going to get fired and all this. No, we're moving past that. Now we're going forward. Okay. And we're going to get healthy. We're going to get our guys back. We're 2-2. Now it's time to go to work. And I think we've only lost one game, and that was to the Commanders. And we avenged that game last night. Now, let's talk real quick about our opponent in the Super Bowl. Talking about avenging, the Eagles will come together like the Avengers to take down the Chiefs. We will not allow them to get 3 in a row, especially 2 of those being on us. It's not gonna happen. Mahomes, I see some little chinks in your armor, homie. I don't think you're all that in a bag of chips this year. I think you made some good plays. I saw last night you put your body on the line a little bit more than you usually do, running in. That's what we do. Y'all trying to be like us. Y'all not like us. You don't have Saquon, okay? You didn't run for 7 touchdowns against the Commanders. You didn't put up 55, a double nickel on, a pretty solid opponent. We could do the same thing to you. So I can't wait for this matchup. Last time, Jalen Carter wasn't there. This time we're gonna have Jalen Carter. We're gonna have Nolan Smith, who's playing his butt off. We're gonna have CJ. He's there. And obviously we got Cooper DeJean. We got a way better defense. And not only that, we have a better defensive coordinator. And Jonathan Gannon, I don't want to take nothing away from him. He had a great year that year. He earned himself, a head coaching job with the Cardinals, but he's no Vic Fangio. I'm sorry to say. So we'll just go ahead and shut that down. We're a way better team than we were 2 years ago. A.J. Brown, I can tell he's on a mission. Inner excellence, okay? He's really tapped in this year. And I think from obviously the GM to the coach to the players, I think this team is ready to roll into the Super Bowl and avenge our loss from a couple years ago. Okay, so we will get more into that as the week goes on. This is the first episode of Eagles Real Talk, the official podcast. Many more to come. I am your host, Bryson. Please follow me, Cozy Bird Bry, on TikTok and Instagram, and you'll be able to find this podcast on many platforms coming soon. But for now, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you got this far, and tap in with me on TikTok and all of the other social media pages. And we're back in the bowl, man. What can I say? I just, man. It's been a good journey. It's been a good season. And man, I hope this ends with, no, I'm not going to say hope. I'm not even going to say that. I know this is going to end with tears of joy once our birds are hoisting up that Vince Lombardi. Can't wait for it. February 9th, that's going to be Saquon's birthday. It's going to be one hell of a celebration. It's also Cooper DeJean's birthday. We're going to have a lot to celebrate. It's going to be a great day. Kendrick Lamar is performing They Not Like Us. And I'm a pretty big Kendrick Lamar fan. So it's going to be a great day. Super Bowl, the big game. I can't wait to see this offensive line, which we'll talk about more. Mauling dudes in this defensive line. I can't wait to just dive deep every single game more into this. Many more podcasts to come. I'm Bryson. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like this video. I'll holla at you soon. Peace.